Ever wished you had like a super-powered sidekick for your entire digital life? Someone to help you write better, read faster, and never forget anything important you see online.
Well, today we're diving deep into Flot AI.
That's right, we are. We've got a ton of articles and user reviews, and we're going to try to figure out what makes Flot tick and really how it can be useful to you.
You know what really makes Flot different?
Okay.
It's not just another AI writing tool.
Well,
It's meant to be a universal assistant, something that works across your whole digital life.
yeah.
Like having a personalized AI copilot for your browser, email, documents, yeah, you name it.
I've heard a lot of the buzz around Flot is because it uses some of those big AI names, like ChatGPT and Claude.
Right, and maybe even Google's Gemini, too. It's like having this all-star team of AI working behind the scenes.
So these are like the engines that power all of Flot's different features, is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You've got ChatGPT, which is great at generating creative text formats. And then you have Claude, known for its reasoning and summarization skills.
And Google's Gemini, that's their most advanced AI, right?
Right, and adding that could really open up a lot of possibilities.
So it's not just about having access to powerful AI, but it's about how Flot actually combines these different models into one tool, right?
Exactly. It's about using the strengths of each AI to create a seamless experience. This lets Flot do a lot, from helping you write and read better to managing all your information all in one platform.
Okay, so that's a pretty big deal for someone like me who's constantly switching between different tasks and platforms all day long.
Yeah.
Having one tool that can do all of that is pretty appealing.
And from what I've seen in the reviews, people love that Flot works with their existing workflow.
Yeah,
They don't have to learn anything new, it just integrates right in. That's a big selling point.
yeah. Okay, so let's get into some of the specifics of how Flot works. Let's start with writing assistance. This seems to be where Flot really excels. It's not just about catching typos, it's more like having a professional editor right there with you, suggesting how to improve your writing in real time.
Right, you have to understand that Flot's writing assistance is way more than just grammar and spell check. It can actually help you adjust your writing style and tone depending on who you're writing to.
Interesting.
So, like, writing an email to a colleague is going to be different than, say, a formal proposal.
Sure.
And Flot can help you make sure your language and structure are appropriate for each situation.
That's pretty helpful, especially when you're communicating with all sorts of different people. What about, like, students? How can they benefit from this?
Imagine a student who's working on an essay or a research paper.
Yeah,
Flot can help them make sure their writing is clear, concise, and free of those little grammar errors that can sometimes really hurt your grade.
for sure. What about for professionals?
Oh, it's a game changer for them too.
How so?
Think about writing, marketing copy, or putting together reports.
Yeah.
Flot can really elevate the quality of their writing.
And Flot can even help you generate content from scratch, right?
That's right. Let's say you're writing a blog post. You give Flot some keywords or just a simple outline, and it can help you generate different drafts or even write entire sections for you.
So you're saying it can actually save you a ton of time and effort.
Exactly. And it can help people who get stuck, overcome writer's block.
Okay, so it's about more than just polishing your writing. It's about getting those creative juices flowing.
Yeah, it's about helping users write better and faster no matter their skill level.
Now, reading enhancement is another area where Flot's making waves. I mean, there's just so much information out there these days, it's easy to get totally overwhelmed. What does Flot do to help with that?
Well, one of the coolest features is that it can summarize really long texts.
Okay.
It pulls out the key points and gives them to you in a concise, easy to understand way.
I can see how that would be super helpful for students who are researching complex topics.
Oh, absolutely.
Or even professionals who need to get through like a long report quickly. What else can it do?
Well, Flot can also highlight important phrases and definitions within the text, making it easier to follow along and really grasp those more difficult concepts.
And I know a lot of people are excited about Flot's real-time translation.
Oh, yeah, that's a game changer.
Tell me more about that.
It can translate over 200 languages on the fly.
Wow.
So there are no more language barriers. You can read anything from anywhere in the world.
So just to be clear, you're saying I could be reading a news article from another country or a research paper in a completely different language, and Flot will just translate it for me in real time.
That's exactly right.
That's incredible. So Flot's not just about saving time and effort. It's also about giving us access to a whole world of information that might have been inaccessible before.
It really is.
Okay, so let's move on to information management. This is where things get really interesting because it goes way beyond just saving bookmarks.
Right. Flot uses something called AI memory to build this personalized knowledge base from everything you see online.
So it's like having your own private library, but built from the entire internet.
Precisely.
So how does this AI memory actually work? I mean, it's not just about saving links, is it?
No, it's much more than that.
Okay.
As you're browsing, you can tag and save specific bits of information using Flot.
Okay.
And those tags act like keywords, making it easy to search and find that info later on.
So let's say I'm researching a topic. I can tag important quotes or statistics or even whole sections of text.
Right. And then later on, you can easily access all of that information through Flot's search function.
So is it fair to say that the more you use Flot, the smarter it gets at curating your own personal knowledge base?
Exactly. Because it's AI powered, it learns what you're interested in, starts to see connections between the things you save, and can even recommend new content based on that.
Wow, so it's like having your own AI research assistant.
That's a great way to put it. It's about using AI to enhance our own ability to learn, remember, and connect the dots.
Now, this all sounds great, but with all this AI and personalization, I can't help but wonder about privacy. How does Flot handle my personal information?
You're right to be concerned about that. Any AI tool that handles personal information has to take privacy seriously. Flot has a privacy policy that explains what information they collect and how they use it.
So it's really important for users to read that policy carefully. What about customization? Can I adjust Flot to fit my specific needs and preferences?
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
Flot has lots of customization options, so you can tweak things like the writing assistance, how long your summaries are, even the look of the interface.
So you can really personalize it to fit seamlessly into your workflow.
That's the goal. And it goes even further. You can actually tell Flot to prioritize certain types of assistance for specific tasks.
So like if I was a developer working on code.
Exactly. You could set it up to focus on code suggestions and help with debugging.
Okay.
Or if you're a content creator, you could get help with SEO optimization or brainstorming creative writing prompts.
So it really is about giving users the power to create a personalized AI assistant that really works for them no matter what they do.
Right. That's a key part of what makes Flot so powerful, the personalization. It's not a one-size-fits-all thing. It adapts to what you need.
Yeah.
But even though all this advanced AI assistant sounds amazing, we have to talk about responsible use.
Right, of course.
We don't want to become so dependent on AI that we forget how to think for ourselves.
For sure. So how do we find that balance?
Well, it's crucial to remember that Flot is a tool. It's not some replacement for human intelligence or judgment.
Gotcha.
It's there to help us, to make us better, not to do the thinking for us.
It's like using a calculator.
Exactly. A calculator helps you solve complex equations, but you still need to understand the math behind it.
Makes sense. So with writing, for example, Flot is like a writing partner, right? It helps you polish your ideas and improve your writing, but it doesn't tell you what to write or how to think.
That's the idea. And to use it responsibly, we also need to be aware of its limitations.
Oh, right, because like any AI, it's only as good as the information it was trained on.
That's right. There's always the possibility for bias or even just plain inaccuracies.
So we should always double-check the facts and really think critically about the suggestions it gives us.
Exactly. Ultimately, the decisions are ours to make. We use Flot to help us, not to make decisions for us. Now, for the people who are ready to go a little deeper with Flot, let's talk about some of those advanced features and settings.
Yeah, I heard that you can actually adjust things like the length of the summaries it generates.
Oh, absolutely. You can choose how much detail you want, from a quick overview to a really deep analysis.
That's pretty cool. So if I'm just skimming news articles, I might just want a quick summary. But for something like a research paper, I might want a more detailed breakdown.
Exactly. And that level of customization goes for other features too.
Like what?
Well, remember how we talked about how you can tweak how Flot helps you with specific tasks?
Yeah.
If you're a developer, you can tell it to focus on giving you code suggestions. If you're a content creator, you might want it to help with SEO optimization or give you creative writing prompts.
That's pretty amazing. So it really is a personalized AI assistant.
It is. And for those who are comfortable with a little bit of coding, you can actually customize the look of Flot using CSS.
You can.
Yeah, so you can visually integrate it right into your workspace, and it feels like it's just part of your existing setup. Now, have you heard about AI memory synchronization?
I have, but I don't really know how that works.
So Flot's AI memory, remember that lets you build your knowledge base?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can actually sync it with other apps like note-taking apps or personal wikis.
So I could be in my note-taking app and just pull up relevant notes or quotes or anything I've saved in Flot, right?
Right.
That is pretty game-changing for someone who's trying to organize their information across different platforms.
You got it. And because Flot's AI is always learning from how you use it, the connections and insights it gives you can become pretty powerful over time.
It sounds like Flot is more than just a tool. It's like a platform for learning and knowledge management.
Exactly. It helps us make sense of all the information out there and helps us build a knowledge base that grows and changes as we do. Now, Flot also has a really strong community aspect, which I think is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Was it like an online forum or something?
Yeah, it's a really active online community.
Huh.
Users share their experiences and tips, and they give feedback to Flot, too.
It's like a place to learn from each other and troubleshoot issues.
Exactly. And I think that's something that sets Flot apart from other AI tools. It's not just a piece of software, it's a whole community of people excited about what AI can do. But it's important to step back and think about the bigger picture, too.
Right, the impact of AI on society as a whole.
Exactly. Some people are worried about AI taking over jobs, becoming too powerful and uncontrollable. Where does Flot fit into all of that?
That is a big question.
Well, I think if we develop and use AI responsibly, it can make us better. It can create a better future for everyone.
I agree.
But we have to be aware of the risks.
Like what?
Well, some jobs might be lost, and we need to make sure the benefits of AI are shared by everyone, not just a select few. And we have to be careful about the ethical side of things, too.
You mean making sure AI is fair and transparent and doesn't do any harm?
Right. It's not just about the technology, it's about how we use it and the values we put into it.
So how do we make sure AI is used for good?
Education is a big part of it. The more we understand about AI, how it works, and what it can do, the better choices we can make about how to develop it and use it responsibly.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it's not just on the developers. It's on all of us to use AI thoughtfully and ethically in our own lives. So before we finish up this deep dive into Flot, there's one more thing I wanted to touch on, and that's the idea of algorithmic bias.
Algorithmic bias.
Yeah, you know how some AI systems end up reflecting the biases that already exist in society?
Right, because of the data they were trained on.
Exactly. So is that something we should be concerned about with Flot? I mean, it's definitely a valid concern.
It is.
Yeah.
So what can be done about it?
Well, the people who made Flot need to be upfront about where their data came from.
Okay.
And they need to take steps to fix any potential biases.
And what kind of steps are we talking about?
Well, there are a few things they can do. Like, they need to make sure the data they're using is diverse.
Right.
And they need to use algorithms that are designed to be fair.
And they need to constantly check for bias and correct it.
Exactly. And it's super important to have diverse teams of people developing and testing these AI systems. That way, we can be more confident that they're going to be fair for everyone.
So it's not just about the tech itself. It's about the people who are building it.
That's right. At the end of the day, we humans are responsible for making sure AI is ethical.
We have to make sure it's used for good, not for harm.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that brings us back to what we were saying before about how important education and engagement are.
Yeah. The more we know about AI, the better we can hold developers accountable and make sure they're using AI ethically. It's a conversation that we all need to be a part of.
It is. The future of AI depends on us being smart and using this technology to benefit everyone.
Okay, so as we wrap up our look at Flot AI, what's your final takeaway for our listeners who might be thinking about using this tool?
I think the best way to approach Flot is with curiosity. Just be willing to experiment.
Okay.
Dive in and explore the different features, see how it works with what you already do.
And see how it can make your digital life better.
Exactly.
So it sounds like Flot can really help us navigate this crazy digital world, but we have to use it responsibly.
Absolutely. It's about finding that balance where AI helps us but doesn't replace us. We can't become too reliant on technology, no matter how cool it seems.
So as our listeners start exploring Flot and other AI tools, what are some things they should keep in mind, to make sure they're using these tools ethically and effectively?
Well, first of all, remember that AI is a tool.
Right.
Like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. We have to make sure we're using it in a way that's consistent with our values and helps make the world a better place.
So we have to be aware of those potential biases.
Right.
And use AI to help us improve our own skills, not replace them completely.
Right.
And we should always think critically about the information and suggestions it gives us.
Exactly. It's also really important to stay informed about all the ethical stuff surrounding AI. We need to be part of the conversation about how to make sure AI is developed and used responsibly.
But the more we know about AI, the better we can make sure it's used to benefit everyone.
Exactly. And remember that AI is constantly changing. New tools and features are popping up all the time. So we have to stay curious, keep learning, and be ready to adapt as AI technology advances.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Flot AI. We hope you learned a lot and feel ready to explore this incredible technology with, both enthusiasm and a critical mind.
It's been a pleasure. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those tough questions about the role of AI in our lives.